Plastic surgery was supposed to heal the broken. So how did it become an industry that convinces perfectly healthy people they were never enough to begin with? The camera opens on a skyline glass towers reflecting the early morning sun over a bustling American city. Beneath the surface of ambition, wealth, and opportunity lies another story, one not immediately visible but deeply embedded in the culture, the relentless pursuit of physical perfection. In modern America, plastic surgery is no longer a hidden practice whispered about in private. It has become normalized, commercialized, and even celebrated. What was once reserved for reconstructive medical necessity has transformed into a booming industry fueled by desire, insecurity, and a powerful cultural narrative. This is not a story about medicine alone. It is a story about identity, perception, and the cost of chasing an ideal that may never truly exist. In earlier decades, plastic surgery served a very different purpose. It helped burn victims recover, repaired facial injuries, and restored physical function to those affected by accidents or illness. It was rooted in healing. But over time, the meaning of plastic surgery shifted. Technological advancements made procedures safer and more accessible, while cultural forces, especially Hollywood and advertising, began to redefine beauty in increasingly narrow terms. Today, the industry extends far beyond hospitals and into clinics, med spas, and even social media feeds. Procedures such as liposuction, breast augmentation, Botox injections, and rhinoplasty are no longer unusual, they are routine. The transformation of plastic surgery cannot be understood without examining the rise of a beauty-obsessed culture. America has always valued appearance, but in the digital age, this focus has intensified dramatically. Social media platforms flood daily life with curated images, faces without wrinkles, bodies without flaws, and lifestyles that seem impossibly perfect. Filters blur the line between reality and illusion, creating a standard that no human being can naturally meet. The result is subtle but powerful. People begin to see their own reflections as inadequate. What was once considered normal is now seen as something to fix. As the camera shifts to a teenager scrolling through her phone, the psychological impact becomes clear. She compares herself to influencers, celebrities, and even her peers, all of whom appear flawless. This comparison is not occasional, it is constant. Over time, dissatisfaction grows. For many, plastic surgery becomes a perceived solution, not because something is medically wrong, but because something feels emotionally lacking. The normalization of cosmetic procedures reinforces this mindset. Instead of questioning unrealistic standards, society increasingly encourages individuals to alter themselves to fit those standards. This shift carries profound mental health consequences. Many individuals who seek cosmetic procedures are already struggling with issues such as anxiety, depression, or low self-esteem. They approach surgery with the hope that changing their appearance will transform how they feel inside. And sometimes, for a brief moment, it does. Confidence rises, compliments follow, and the mirror reflects something closer to the desired image. But this satisfaction is often temporary. The deeper insecurities remain untouched, waiting beneath the surface. When expectations are not fully met, disappointment can set in, sometimes even stronger than before. In more severe cases, individuals develop patterns of repeated surgeries, chasing a version of themselves that always seems just out of reach. This is particularly evident in conditions like body dysmorphic disorder, where individuals become fixated on perceived flaws that others may not even notice. For them, no procedure is ever enough. Each surgery leads to another, creating a cycle that is as emotional as it is physical. The promise of transformation becomes an illusion, one that keeps moving further away with each attempt to grasp it. The documentary cuts to a brightly lit clinic, where advertisements promise confidence, perfection, and a new you. The language is carefully chosen, appealing not just to aesthetics but to identity and self-worth. Plastic surgery is no longer marketed as a medical procedure, it is sold as a lifestyle upgrade. This commercialization of insecurity is one of the most powerful forces driving the industry. Clinics compete for attention, influencers promote their transformations, and financing options make procedures accessible to a wider audience. The message is clear: if you are unhappy with how you look, there is a solution, and it is available now. Yet this accessibility raises critical questions. When something becomes easier to obtain, does it also become easier to misuse? Plastic surgery, despite its normalization, is still surgery. it carries risks, complications, infections, scarring, and in some cases, irreversible damage. These risks are often downplayed in marketing campaigns, overshadowed by promises of beauty and confidence. Patients may enter procedures without fully understanding the potential consequences, both physically and emotionally. The financial dimension adds another layer to the story. Cosmetic procedures are rarely covered by insurance, meaning individuals must pay out of pocket. For some, this involves dipping into savings. For others, it means taking on debt. The pursuit of beauty becomes not just an emotional investment, but a financial one. Maintenance procedures, such as fillers and Botox, require ongoing costs, turning what might begin as a one-time decision into a long-term financial commitment. Over time, the pressure to maintain a certain appearance can become overwhelming, creating a cycle that is difficult to break. As the narrative unfolds, attention turns to identity. What does it mean to change one's appearance so significantly? For some, plastic surgery is empowering, a way to align their Venetian appearance with how they feel inside. But for others, it creates a sense of disconnection. The face in the mirror may look different, but does it feel like me? This question does not have a simple answer. Identity is complex, shaped by experiences, relationships, and self-perception. Altering the physical self can influence these elements in unpredictable ways. The influence of plastic surgery is particularly evident among younger generations. Teenagers and young adults, who are still developing their sense of identity, are increasingly exposed to the idea that their appearance is something to be optimized. Social media plays a central role in this process, amplifying trends and normalizing procedures at an earlier age. What once might have been considered extreme is now discussed casually, even humorously, among peers. The long-term effects of this shift are still unfolding, but concerns are growing. When individuals begin altering their bodies before fully understanding themselves, the consequences can be profound. Another dimension of this issue lies in social inequality. Beauty standards are not neutral. They are shaped by cultural, racial, and economic factors. Certain features are elevated as ideal, while others are subtly or overtly discouraged. Plastic surgery can become a tool for conforming to these dominant standards, raising questions about authenticity and diversity. At the same time, access to cosmetic procedures often depends on financial resources, creating a divide between those who can afford enhancements and those who cannot. Appearance becomes not just a personal attribute, but a marker of status. Despite these concerns, it is important to acknowledge that plastic surgery is not inherently harmful. For many individuals, it provides genuine benefits. Reconstructive procedures can restore function and appearance after trauma or illness. Some people do experience increased confidence and improved quality of life after cosmetic surgery. The issue is not the existence of plastic surgery itself, but the cultural environment in which it operates. When society places overwhelming emphasis on appearance, even beneficial practices can become problematic. As the documentary approaches its conclusion, the camera returns to the cityscape. The lights are brighter now, the streets more crowded. The story of plastic surgery in America is not one of simple good or bad. It is a reflection of deeper societal values. It reveals how beauty, identity, and worth have become intertwined in ways that are both powerful and at times damaging. The industry thrives not only because of technological capability, but because of cultural demand. The central question remains: what happens when a society becomes so focused on appearance that it begins to reshape itself physically to match an ideal? The answer is complex. On one hand, individuals gain the freedom to alter their bodies in ways that were once impossible. On the other hand, this freedom can become a form of pressure, where choosing not to change feels like falling behind. The line between empowerment and expectation becomes blurred. The impact of plastic surgery on the United States is not about destruction in a literal sense. It is about transformation of values, perceptions, and priorities. It is about a culture that increasingly measures worth through appearance, often at the expense of deeper qualities. Addressing this issue requires more than regulating an industry. It requires rethinking the standards that drive it. Promoting diversity, encouraging self-acceptance, and fostering awareness of mental health are essential steps toward a healthier balance. The screen fades to black, leaving behind a final thought. Beauty, in its truest form, has never been about perfection. It has always been about authenticity, and in a world where change is always possible, the greatest challenge may not be altering how we look, but accepting who we are. If this story made you question what you see, what you believe, and what society tells you is perfect, then this is just the beginning. Subscribe now, because the truth behind these stories only gets deeper.